Hold on one moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining us. I am pleased to be here. My name is Talia Lipton. I am an associate professor in the Communication Speech Department, and I'm also the program director for the Healthcare Science degree at Rockland Community College. I am pleased to be here to share our OER journey, our continued OER journey with my colleagues, professors Robin Liao, Krista Quinn, and Nancy Rosen, who should hopefully be joining us any moment now. RCC has a rich history of embracing OER. And in about 2014, I started really delving into OER, and I was doing it. There was a professor in math, a few in English, one in science, and we were all in our silos doing this. And then we started coming together. We started going to SUNY for training, and we were bringing it back to RCC, and it grew and it grew. And we are currently proud to say and pleased to say that we have 100% OER for our ITTS program, which is our introduction to the schools, which is akin to first-year seminars for many. We are 100% OER for Math 101. And when we still grew, some nursing classes became OER, some history classes, but when this grant came out, we were trying to figure out another big high impact project. And now the majority of our students have to take Speech 101 and English 101 for their written and oral communication gen eds for the majority of our degree programs. So we figured out that if we were to adopt 100% OER, we would save the students approximately $117,000 to $133,000 in the fall, and between $90,000 and $102,000 in the spring. So totals over $235,000. So that's quite a bit of money for our community college students. So the grant that we received, 100% of the grant goes towards faculty stipends for conversion of OER in English 101 and Speech 101. And we are committed to the growth and sustainability of OER through our OER committee, in nearly which every discipline in our college is represented on the committee. We are working toward an OER degree. We are working toward OER growth in other areas, specifically, hopefully, fingers crossed, A&P and business. And we are committed to this project and trying to get as many people on board. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the conversation to my colleagues in the English department, Professors Robin Liao and Krista Quinn.
Thank you, Talia, for the excellent introduction and explaining what we're doing here at RCC to really scale up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've done for English 101. And as Talia mentioned, English 101, all students are required to take it because it's the only course that fulfills the Gen Ed written communication requirement. So when we put together the grant, we targeted English 101 for this, large scale project. And we said that during fall 2023, so right now, 100% of our English 101 classes would be converted to OER, or at least that was our goal. So here we are just about halfway through the semester, and I can tell you that things are, going really, really well. Remains to be seen if we hit the exact 100% target or not, but I have to say that we have made excellent progress. So we have 46 English 101 courses, and the average is about 24 students per course. So it really is a very large number of students. It's about $80,000, if not a little bit more, savings that we are, hoping for the course of the semester for these students. The biggest hurdle when we were discussing converting everything to OER was really faculty buy-in. We have 25 faculty members teaching English 101 courses. 18 of those are adjuncts and 7 of them are full-time. Many, probably most of our full-time faculty members were already utilizing OER materials in their English 101 courses. So it was really the adjunct population that we were targeting to get the buy-in and to have them move away from utilizing textbooks, which prior to this, many of them were still using expensive textbooks, which can be sometimes challenging for our students to buy. So In order to get everybody on board, we held 2 training sessions. We told everybody about the grant as soon as we were, notified that we received it. And like Talia said, one of the really important things we did with the grant money is 100% of the money is going to stipends. So we told faculty that, yes, we would be holding training session and that they would be paid for their time, which we thought was really important. So our 2 training sessions, one took place in June at the end of the semester when everybody had a little bit more time to breathe. When we introduced OER, we had our Lumen colleagues come and explain to us how we could use Lumen tools to make the transition to OER a little bit easier. And then we had another training session in August, just before the start of the semester, where we had an open lab time, and myself and Dr. Robin Liao, who's here as well, sat with each faculty member and helped them adopt the Lumen OER materials if they chose, or if not, we also had the librarian on staff to help us find OER materials for faculty to use. And we really felt that the training session was a good time to talk with people one-on-one, explain to them a little bit more about OER, share our materials with them, because some of us have been doing this for a while, in a very collaborative way. And one of the things, the biggest takeaways for me was assuring our faculty that we are still doing what we've always been doing. We're just shifting the modality a little bit. There was a little bit, a couple of our adjuncts who are longtime adjuncts were very nervous about the shift. It was a little bit scary. It can be challenging when we make big changes. And after a simple one-on-one conversation, they were really ready to buy in. And those 2 particular faculty members that I'm thinking about, both of them have emailed me within the past week that it's really working well for them. So I was really happy to report that 2 of the people that I thought might be most resistant have really responded well to it. Robin, is there anything you wanted to add about the Lumen modules?
So I want to mention that we also create a master template to make it easier for everyone to adopt if they want to. And Krista, and we work on the master template over the summer with the Lumen specialist. So that also make it easier for everyone that, when we transition to the OER, they don't have to worry about which specific module they want to use. We already have everything created in our master template, so they can easily import it into their D2L shell.
Hi, I'm going to go to the next one.
And Professor Nancy Rosen will be talking about what we are doing in speech.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm just really enjoying working with Professor Lipton, Liao, and Quinn, because everybody really has the best interest at heart for our students in terms of getting this grant going and getting this really beneficial information to the students. So I teach Speech 101. I'm in the communications department. It is a 3-credit requirement at RCC that meets the SUNY oral communication gen ed requirement. Interesting, we have 4 full-time faculty and 7 adjuncts in our department that teach this course. And we had a little bit more pushback from our full-time faculty than we did from our adjunct faculty, because the full-time faculty, several of them have been here for many years, and they were using a textbook that they are really comfortable with. And it is a good textbook. It comes every year, or so you get a different edition and they upgrade it, and it's been great for them. So they're the ones who had a little bit harder of a time thinking about adopting OER materials to the class. Many of our adjuncts, because they did come in, several of them came in over the last 5 to 7 years, started using them because I started using it about 5 years ago at the introduction from Professor Lipton, who brought me on board with using this, with using these types of resources. So we're really working with a little bit more with our full-time faculty. We did a training session in we did a training session in August. We started talking about it. We did the training session in September with both the full-time and the adjuncts. And they have really found, now that they've looked into it, that it has been something that is beneficial for them. It was not difficult to make the transition. It was a little bit of work. But one of the reasons that happened, and we were talking about it with at our training, that as an oral communication gen ed course, most of our requirements are performance-based. So the use of traditional materials, while we do, of course, give quizzes and go over communication theory and give midterms or assignments, most of our outcomes are performance-based. So it might make it a little bit easier for us to be able to adopt certain materials. What we found, we put together a repository that provided lots of different materials, and we found that there's a lot of information out there that is quality material that fits under the OER categories and designations, that really were able to provide really great resources, both for the students to use for their reading, as well as for activities and assignments we could do. So there was a lot of quality material out there. We were lucky to have our librarian help us put together in the LibGuides different resources that we provided for all of the full-time and adjunct faculty to use as resources. And we took that and created a repository in our learning management system. We actually created a course shell that we are calling our repository. It is accessible for all of the full-time and adjunct faculty, and everyone can contribute into this repository if they find different materials or things to use. Another great thing that I found about using OER resources was that I was able to implement several different types of resources, as opposed to just using one book that I required students to buy, which I did for many years until I adopted this. I realized that the different sources for different topics became a terrific resource. So, for example, we do communication theory, we do public speaking, we do interviewing modules. Those, I've been able to collect materials from different sources that were really relevant and interesting, sometimes, and giving the students the opportunity to use those to utilize different resources, again, without having to pay for them and easily being able to access them. So we've really found that now that we've brought everybody on board, our assignments have increased in variety and the ability to use these resources. The faculty really seem to be doing it really over 75. We're almost at 100%, and really will be by the spring semester. And it's definitely been a positive experience bringing everybody on board with it and creating the repository. So I'm glad to say that it's been that way. And I think it's a real benefit for our students. As I said in the beginning, they're really happy with the option and the ease of using these resources. So that's been the speech department experience. I'm going to turn it back to Professor Lipton for anything else to add about the Communication Speech Studies department or other remarks.
Just to add, when I started in 2014, there was a few materials out there. I also teach different courses in the communication speech department, such as intercultural communication, communication disorders, and I really wanted to convert all of my courses to OER, and I wasn't able to back in 2014. But this year, I was able to convert my intercultural communication, because back in 2014, there was maybe one textbook that touched upon intercultural communication a little bit. When I started doing some research this year, there was about 6. So there's a lot more out there than for those of us who started way back when, and I'm not even way back when, there's people who started way before me, but I want to now, I'm committed to trying to be a 100% OER professor to teach everything, all of my classes. I'm going to try. The other thing I wanted to mention is Professor Rosen mentioned that we had a librarian who would put together a beautiful LibGuide. She was also part of our grant, because we recognize that if we have faculty who want to further their education about OER and do some more research. And we do have some autonomy and academic freedom if they want to delve into another topic, that we wanted to give them support. So our librarian, Claire O'Dowd, is also part of our grant and also part of our committee. So that's incredibly important to have that resource and have, you know, that support for all of our faculty. I think that unless any of my colleagues have anything to answer, we are incredibly thankful that we received this grant. We have plans for, it's giving us this, fueling our fire, so to speak, for reaching out into other disciplines and seeking more wide, high impact projects. And we look forward to collaborating among RCC and among SUNYs. So please, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out now or in the future.
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, but feel free to unmute yourself and ask our hosts.
I would love to, can I throw out a question to everyone who's here?
Certainly.
Has anyone had any high impact OER adoptions at their institutions? I would love to hear about those. Oh, maybe not.
Well, I, for one, would love to thank you for your presentation and for your effort as an adult student, former, present, and continuing. Huge help to have OER resources. So thank you for all of your hard work. And thank you for participating today in the SUNY OER Summit.
And thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
I'm going to end the recording and